next system that will bring a good chance of rain for tomorrow. Possible severe storms. It is a first alert weather day. I'll explain.
And it's officially fall. That means falling leaves. Why this year we're likely to see leaves falling faster, plus how much color we can expect. Plus, we want you to be involved in the show. We're showing off your pictures and videos, including this picture from the largest state in the union.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. How you doing, Tania?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, I just posted on Facebook. I said, hold my sweet tea. I was looking at the long-range forecast, and it looks like 80s right on through the 1st of October.
Hey, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot more about that coming up, that long-range forecast. As we take a look at what's going on here across the region, we're tracking this next system here up front. A lot of rain. There are some storms with this. There's tornado watches back to the north and west, well north and west of us over Arkansas. But this is the next system and why we have called a First Alert Weather Day for tomorrow. This will be a more impactful system. We're going to have some gusty winds, some intense lightning with some of these storms tomorrow, mostly into the evening. By Thursday, a lot of this is going to be more limited to the eastern part of the state, but there's still a chance that we could see some rain area-wide there going into Thursday morning. But let's just show you this. Here comes the front, and this will bring some changes. After this front moves through, we have high around 90 degrees tomorrow, but that may be it for the 90s for this fall season because long-range data is trending a lot cooler. We're seeing 80s, even some 70s possible by October 8th, 9th, which we're going to talk a lot more about that. But in the meantime, we need to watch out for the possibility of some storms and some intense lightning, some gusty winds. We are still in this drought situation, so as we move into the day, it looks like some areas may not receive quite as much rain as others. I just can't promise every location is going to receive heavy rainfall, but we do have the chance for some stronger storms, frequent lightning, gusty straight line winds, some locally heavy rainfall, so giving you that first alert as that system moves in. But right now, things pretty quiet. We did have some showers earlier today, but this to the north, you can see how there's been some storms kind of tracking across parts of Tennessee in this direction. This will slide a bit further south tonight. So when we look at the forecast data out the door tomorrow morning, you see to the north, we may wake up to some of these storms here in the areas to the north, pushing in towards the Gadsden area around lunchtime. But look at this. This is from the Barron model. It's more robust in that coverage later in the day. Some data is not showing quite as many storms. However, that the general window here, 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening, that's our next best chance of rain that we've seen in weeks around here. 10 o'clock tomorrow night, you can see this shows that chance of some of those storms sliding a bit further east. My main concern, gusty straight line winds, damaging straight line winds, maybe some small hail with some of these, but with any storm, you've got the frequent lightning and, of course, that possibility of some heavy rain. So certainly an impactful setup for tomorrow. You can see the Storm Prediction Center. They've got the typical marginal risk outlook for a good part of the state for tomorrow, and then that slides a bit further east and southeast as we go into the day there on Thursday. So scattered strong to severe storms, scattered pockets of heavier rainfall. Hopefully, if you've missed out on the rain, hopefully you will pick up some of that wet weather. And of course, there's a lot more that we are tracking out in the tropics. We still have powerful Hurricane Gabrielle, a couple of waves in the Atlantic. We'll show you where all those systems are going a bit later in the show. Tania?
Well, Wes, speaking of tropics, we're not talking about here at home. We're actually talking about typhoons now. One of this year's strongest typhoons has impacted the Philippines and left behind some damage. More than 8,000 people were evacuated from northern Philippine villages Monday following a typhoon that caused flooding and landslides as it made its way towards southeastern China. The super typhoon has winds of 134 miles per hour with gusts of up to 183 miles per hour. It's forecast to remain in the South China Sea until at least tomorrow. While the worst is forecast to stay south of Hong Kong, the city isn't taking any chances. Hanako Montgomery shows you how the city is preparing.
We're on the edge of Hong Kong Harbor on the eastern side of Hong Kong Island. And within the last hour or so of us being here, we've seen the weather intensify and really turn for the worst. We've seen the sky become overcast, wind speeds pick up, and also intense storm surges occurring right over there. You can actually see waves intensifying and getting bigger and bigger as they are lashing Hong Kong. Now, the Hong Kong Observatory, which is the city's main weather forecaster, has warned that storm surges of up to 4 meters could batter the city as the typhoon approaches the city in the coming hours. Now, in order to prepare for this massive typhoon, the city government has launched a number of different preparatory measures. For instance, they've put up red tape over there by the shore, that is to prevent residents from getting too close to the sea and potentially putting themselves in a life-threatening position. Now, the city government has also put up these metal flood barrier systems, and that is to prevent flooding in low-lying areas like the one we're currently in. And I do have to note that back in 2017 and 2018, Hong Kong saw massive typhoons that caused millions of dollars in damage, especially in areas, again, like this one, which are more low-lying and can be more prone to flooding. Now, also, if you take a look at this residential building right here, you can see windows are being taped up. That is to prevent glass from breaking, shattering, and entering people's homes. Now, the city government has warned that this typhoon can be very, very devastating, very, very powerful as it continues to approach Hong Kong. Now, the city is very well prepared to deal with natural disasters like this, but we do have to note that because climate change is continuing to worsen, these storms are getting a lot more intense, a lot more extreme, and potentially more life-threatening. That is why the city government has ordered people to stay hunkered down, to stay indoors, and people have taken that advice to heart and have bought supplies at supermarkets and really just emptied shelves as they are preparing to stay inside for the next few hours to prevent themselves from being in a very life-threatening situation.
All right, time to check in on the tropics, and currently we're seeing Hurricane Gabrielle with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. That system is going to be heading out over the Atlantic, but it's certainly an impressive view from space. Actually, just got the updated advisory there showing max winds at 7 o'clock, intermediate advisory of 125 miles per hour. But what we're more interested in, a couple of waves behind this. Now, Invest 93L and 94L, these systems now being actively investigated. We're getting more data, better handle on where they're going. Keep in mind, they're not even tropical depressions right now, but this one has a higher chance, this number 93 area being investigated, moving to the north over the next several days. This stays out over the Atlantic. This other wave out here has a chance for development. It's also going to stay over the Atlantic, but what happens, we got the front that moves in across our region tomorrow. We've got a leftover trough. There's sort of a roadblock that develops as we close out the week, so that's why we didn't just completely go away on those rain chances. We're still seeing a few showers, some clouds lingering as this system passes to the east. All this weather we see moving in here across the region over the next few days is going to help to turn all these systems back out over the Atlantic. So timing has been critical this season with a lot of these systems. We've been seeing them stay out of the Gulf region. We'll keep an eye on it, but for right now, no tropical trouble. If you are traveling down to the coast for this weekend, just to let you know, at the beach by Saturday and Sunday, it looks like temperatures in the 80s and mainly dry conditions, but there will be higher rain chances at Gulf shores. You can see 70 to 50% chance of rain for Thursday and Friday. But we'll check in on our 10-day forecast. We'll have that for you in First Alert Weather.
Thanks, Wes. Well, 2 hunters who disappeared in southern Colorado earlier this month apparently died from a lightning strike. As Robbie Patla reports, their cause of death took the county coroner by surprise.
I've not seen this type of activity with human.
Richard Martin, the Conejos County coroner, confirmed the 2 25-year-old hunters who went missing in the San Juan wilderness were killed by lightning, which came as a surprise to him.
The bodies were in perfect shape, after that many days in the mountains.
Martin says random burn marks were found on the victims, indicating electricity stopped their heart and brain.
There's a very sensitive nerve in the heart that, if hit with electricity at the right time, can stop the heart immediately. And there was enough electricity that it also stopped all the brain waves going to the heart and to the nervous system.
The men were found underneath a large tree. The National Weather Service says lightning is attracted to long, tall objects to discharge their electricity.
Anything that's taller would be likely going to be struck or have a higher probability of being struck. Let's say a solo tree in the middle of a field or a group of tallest trees.
So far, 14 other lightning-related deaths have been reported in 2025. Scott Rosansky with the Weather Service says it's never something to take lightly.
People take photos of it and it seems innocent, but it's not. It does affect people throughout, well, every year.
As family and friends mourn the two men, Martin has a few words of his own to share.
My condolences go out to the family. These were two young, healthy boys that should live for a long time. It's just very sad for the family and those that knew them.
Check this out. It's video of Italian firefighters using a helicopter to rescue a mother and daughter trapped in a flood. Rescue crews hoisted a firefighter from a helicopter in the northern town of Mita after massive flooding and mudslides hit the region. Firefighters also evacuated people from their homes, vehicles, and cleared flooded roads after responding to over 600 calls. Yesterday marked the beginning of astronomical fall with the autumn equinox. This fall, the leaves are turning colors. Their colors are changing sooner and falling more quickly due to widespread drought in many parts of the country. That's not good news for fans of the fall colors like me. Ted Lidner has the story.
As we dive deeper into fall, environmental experts are telling leaf peepers to start planning their trips to soak up the foliage, citing how pre-autumn weather has impacted trees in many prime regions across the country.
Really droughty period that started in August, and the leaves have started to change earlier here in Ohio and really pretty much throughout the Northeast than they would normally, mostly because of really dry conditions.
And while Professor Brent Songen of The Ohio State University expects leaf colors to still be bright this season, he warns they may not stick around for long.
We'll probably still have as many sort of reds and yellows, etc. But it'll just happen quicker. So if you're looking forward to getting out there and seeing some fall color, plan to do it in the next couple weeks, because with these dry conditions, those leaves will be falling off pretty quickly.
But the leaves are more than just beautiful. Data indicates trees play vital roles in many states' outdoor recreational economies.
We've shown that outdoor recreation is worth anywhere from $16 to $20 billion per year. And maybe 50% of that value really happens in the fall and is somehow associated with the fall time activities that people engage in. The northeastern U.S. is kind of that place where you have these, really vibrant fall colors, and that is closely located to really big cities, right? You got Boston, New York City, pretty close to Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. So people both driving through and people having hikes as well. So there's a huge amount of activity associated with those sort of fall leaf time viewing.
Meanwhile, an area's elevation can also impact when leaves change colors, with trees in higher elevations turning sooner. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Explore the wonders of weather with Weather in the Classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
Welcome back in. NASA has announced the 10 people selected from more than 8,000 applicants who will join the astronaut corps. It's another step in NASA's race to return to the moon before attempting an unprecedented crewed mission to Mars. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest on the astronauts and the upcoming mission.
NASA is aiming to make another giant leap for mankind by sending a crewed mission to the moon and eventually to Mars.
Some of you may take humanity's first steps on the red planet of Mars. All of you will carry forward missions that today exist only in our dreams. But together, we're going to make these dreams a reality.
Artemis 2, a test mission that will fly around the moon, is planned to launch no later than April 2026, according to NASA, and is intended to help confirm the systems and hardware needed for deep space exploration by humans.
We are going back to the moon to establish a sustained presence. The crew there on the surface of the moon will be trying to figure out how to live off the land.
Even though the 4 astronauts for that mission have already been chosen, some of the crew members headed to Mars in the future could include any of NASA's 10 newest astronauts introduced on Monday. Among the candidates are former military, a geologist, and mechanical, aerospace, and biomedical engineers.
With upcoming exploration missions, we are pushing the boundaries of human performance. And the lessons that we learn are going to help us to excel not just in space, but in areas of human health here on Earth.
During their 2-year training, the astronauts will learn about NASA's history and vision for the future, and will take classes in geology and in water survival and space health. Upon completion, the new class will join the 48 other members of the space agency's astronaut corps and become eligible for flight assignments. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
All right, so what I'm working on here is some forecast data looking ahead into next week, and we are going to be seeing a system that kind of lingers there just to the east, and it may bring some showers. Let's go over right now, first off, to what's on the way for tonight, and back over to radar. We're not seeing any rainfall at the moment. You see temperatures right now at 90 degrees in Birmingham, 91 in Tuscaloosa, 87 at Anniston, and the temperatures tomorrow will top out around 90 degrees again. After that, we are seeing readings in the 80s for the rest of the week. It looks like overnight lows down into the 60s, but forecast radar shows us staying mainly dry this evening. Let me step over to the side here. You'll see the timing and the wind direction, the wind speed. So here comes tomorrow morning, possibility of some wet weather early in the day. There will be some breaks tomorrow. This is 10 a.m., so you need to wrap up out on a job. You can see Anniston, Gadsden, Alabaster, Birmingham, areas to the south. It's not widespread rain mid to late morning, but as we go into the afternoon, we heat up into the 90s. That's when those scattered storms start to pop. Could be some intense lightning with some of those, some locally heavy rainfall. There's 3 o'clock, and then by 6 o'clock you can see another a good coverage there. That's sort of the window there, 3 to 9 o'clock. And then late tomorrow night, once we lose the heating of the day, that's going to lessen the risk of severe storms later tomorrow night. Although there may be some late night rumbles, and that's a good thing, right? We need the rainfall, but notice by late tomorrow night we see that chance for some of those heavier storms and showers to push down into the southeast part of the area. Now Thursday looks like the greatest chance of rain starting out eastern part of the state as this system slows down. There might be some leftover showers coming back by Thursday afternoon, some scattered storms, but then we're still going to have some leftover showers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got an upper level trough that's going to linger just to the east of Alabama, and I say that because that's the same system that's going to pick up those tropical waves out over the Atlantic and send those things back out to sea, and it's also going to keep us kind of cloudy with a few showers around it, looks like over the weekend. So some of the models suggesting we might see some upper 80s come back, but if we got clouds and showers, those temperatures will struggle to even reach mid 80s over the weekend. Overnight lows could be as low as 60 degrees by early Saturday and Sunday. But the main impact tomorrow, gusty winds, some intense lightning. The good news, some rain possible. Unfortunately, I just can't promise every location is going to see heavy rain with this tomorrow, or at least the kind of rain that we need to end the drought, but we will have certainly our best chance of rain we have seen in weeks around here. So that's why we have first alert weather days Friday through Sunday. Again, a few leftover showers. High temperatures staying in the 80s. Notice we went a little bit cooler there. Sunday showing 83 degrees with a partly to mostly cloudy sky. 20% chance for showers, especially over East Alabama. Overnight lows in the 60s. Now, as we go into next week, final 2 days of September, next week we'll be talking about, again, this system to the east that could possibly generate some scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm into early next week. I bump Monday's rain chance up to around 30%, highs around 84, overnight lows in the 60s, and heading into October, still could see a few isolated showers, highs in the 80s. Again, no direct impacts from a tropical system, even though there's a lot going on in the Atlantic, but it does look like the weather stays a little bit unsettled, but just enough to where it holds those temperatures down as we go to meteorologist Tania Michelle to take us beyond the 10-day forecast.
Thanks, Wes. Yeah, listen, I'm really looking forward to some cooler temperatures in our forecast, even if they come this weekend. Listen, the fall season is here, so it should feel like it, right? Here's a look at our precipitation outlook across the nation. September 29th through October 3rd, as we take you beyond that 10-day forecast, you can see that there's a mix across the nation. Above average rainfall expected for the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, down towards the southwestern states across the nation. Then it looks like much of the Midwest dealing with more below average rainfall. But where do we stand in all of this? Well, we could be seeing right around near average or slightly above average here at home across central Alabama. So as far as rainfall goes, as we approach the first few days of the month of October, we're going to be right around where we typically are this time of the year. So nothing crazy as far as news with that. But the temperatures, though, I kind of want to walk you through some of our models. This is just one model. As we approach beyond the 7-day, this is showing about 7 days out from now, looking ahead to next Wednesday. Temperatures still hanging on in the mid to upper 80s for parts of central Alabama, as you saw there in Wes's 10-day forecast. But some afternoons may struggle to reach the low 80s. I mean, this is next Thursday, looking a little bit closer to that beyond the 7-day forecast, or beyond the 10-day. I'm looking at about 7 to 10 days out from now. You can see that temperatures are going to start to cool off even more. Looking ahead to next weekend, will we reach the 80s? Some models are saying we may top out in the 70s, so we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I'm looking forward to some cooler weather, and I hope you are too. Hopefully it starts to feel like fall and we can actually enjoy our afternoons outside. Well, that's beyond that 10-day forecast. We'll of course keep you up to date because things will change as we look ahead, because again, the forecast is always changing. Well, we'll be right back with more First Weather Extra and a look at some of your viewer pictures after the break.
You're watching WBRC 6 News, Alabama Broadcasters Association's Station of the Year.
All right, time for some of your photos and a lovely view from Purcell Farms there in the Farm Links Golf Course. Thanks for the photo, Pete Story, and sharing it on the First Alert Weather app.
That one's so pretty. And how about this one? It's a sunrise in Delta Junction, Alaska. Thanks to Rebecca Harding for sending that picture.
Wow. Lovely cotton candy sky there, Tania. And yeah, send us those weather photos. You can download the First Alert Weather app. You can share your photos just one click away, and you'll see those right here featured on First Alert Weather Extra.
Absolutely. Take a live look right here on our First Alert Sky Vision camera on Red
photos.
Mountain.
Wow, what a view there. Yeah, lovely sunset. Listen, First Alert Weather Day tomorrow. We're going to be tracking some storms at this time tomorrow, so stay tuned. We'll have more on that tonight.